We're getting ready for Ryan Lazanis, and I'm really excited for his talk. Just a little bit about Ryan. Well, Ryan, he actually founded Zen Accounting in 2013. It was a 100% cloud-based accounting firm. Now, following its acquisition in 2018, Ryan started Future Firm, which provides resources to firms looking to modernize and stay on the cutting edge. He sends a weekly newsletter to over 1,500 firm leaders who want tips to help build and scale an online, automated, modern firm on their own. And full disclosure, to be honest with you, this is how I got connected with Ryan. I don't even know where I initially heard about Future Firm, to be honest with you. But then when I got on the newsletter, I was hooked. I think you do a really great job of putting together highly curated articles, both in and outside the industry, that are relevant for every firm owner. I have multiple members at Jetpack Workflow subscribe to it. So that was not part of my my little notes here, but a big fan of the newsletter. And Ryan, I'll let you take it from here.
Awesome. Well, that's a great introduction. Thanks a lot, David, and appreciate you guys inviting me on for this. It's a great initiative. I'm Ryan Lazanis, everyone, and really happy to be here. Thanks a lot for joining me. I'm going to get right into it because I don't have a ton of time. But what I want to talk about today are 3 actionable marketing tactics that you can use in a COVID-19 world. We know things have really changed a lot in the last few months, and so is marketing. So I'm going to talk about 3 tactics that I think are working really well right now. So a little bit about me. David already kind of mentioned some of these points, but I'm a CPA from Montreal, Canada. I founded one of Canada's first online accounting firms in 2013 called Zen Accounting. I started from scratch and ended up scaling it all the way to acquisition in 2018. It was acquired by a larger European corporate services firm. Part of the way that I scaled the firm was through some of the online marketing activities that I engaged in. We'll talk about a little bit of those today. Then after acquisition, I started Future Firm, which essentially helps provide resources to firm owners who want to create a modern, online, automated, scalable firm of their own. And I do a bit of one-to-one mentorship with a select group of firms, but a big part of what I do is putting out content, free content online. You can check out my blog or that weekly newsletter that David had discussed at futurefirm.co/top5. So, very briefly, I want to talk about the fact that effective marketing right now is really all about providing support. We're seeing marketing departments around the world really pivot towards this. It's about, it's tough times right now. People are struggling. There's a lot of confusion, a lot of information out there. And marketing is really about how could we best support people through these difficult times. And how could you, and that's what you need to think about if you're going to be marketing at the moment, is how could you provide resources to your target market to help support them? So the first tactic that I want to go through today are live video Q&As. I think this is a great marketing tactic that's working really well right now. I just discovered this recently. What it is really just a live webinar where you're going to answer people's questions. And I think what it helps do is clear up a lot of confusion that's in the air if you can execute it properly. The gist of it is that it's not just a Zoom meeting. You want to collect questions up front, and you want those questions logged in the app ahead of time, and then you want other people to upvote any other interesting questions, and then you're going to hop onto the webinar and answer those questions live. There's also going to be a live interactive chat as well, which makes it a lot more engaging for everybody involved. So why do I like this tactic? First, it's easy and it's cheap to set up. Very, very minimal preparation is required. It provides a lot of support for the people that need it most right now. I think it's really good from a branding and exposure standpoint as well. There are a few firms that I mentor that started rolling these kind of tactics out. And they've been picking up a bunch of leads. One of them even made it onto a national TV news network because someone saw them on one of these live Q&As. So it's pretty cool from that standpoint. It also helps to create a little bit of a community spirit because it is interactive, and that then increases relationship stickiness. So what does it look like? So here's one that I did. You can see This is at the beginning of this whole pandemic, because you can see what my beard looked like and what my hair looked like then. This was maybe about a month ago. But really, it's just a video of me speaking. There's a live chat on the right-hand side that you can see. And below, there's a little window that I could pop up with all the questions that were logged ahead of time. That's really key to one of these sessions, is questions have to be logged ahead of time. And you can see here, this question was upvoted 3 times, so I can prioritize questions that were upvoted more times than others. How do you launch one of these live Q&As? The first thing is I could recommend signing up for an app like Crowdcast or something similar, because this allows you to collect questions in advance. You'll choose an event date, ideally something 1 week out, because that gives you a little bit of time to promote. You'd create an event in Crowdcast. Consider limiting the number of seats for the event. That also helps to create a little bit of a sense of urgency. You're going to then invite clients and prospective clients via social media, newsletter, however you see fit, basically, to kind of get people into this event. You'll give some instructions in advance about how they could log their questions in the app and how they could upload, upvote some of those questions. You'll send a reminder to the attendees 24 hours before the event, just to make sure they've logged all their questions. You show up to the event and answer those questions, the most upvoted ones first. And then the last thing you should do is keep an eye on the online chat. I'm kind of doing that right now, which is distracting me a little bit, but you try to keep an eye on the online chat and answer questions as real time as possible as well. So that's my first tactic. Second tactic, step-by-step blog posts. I've been a big proponent of blogging for a very long time now. That's how I grew my last firm, is really almost entirely from blogging. That's how I'm kind of growing future firm as well. But I think if you could focus on making step-by-step blog posts and putting those out right now, those are highly effective. And essentially what a step-by-step blog post is, it's an article that you're going to create that's going to walk the reader how to achieve a certain income, how to achieve a certain outcome. This point is very important. How can you help get them from point A to point B? And the goal here is to craft a high quality piece of content that's going to show up on Google's first page for that particular topic. Why is this important? And why do I like this tactic? Because if you can show up on Google's first page for that particular, if you can get your blog post on that first page, you can get traffic to your website. The more traffic to your website, the higher the chance you can convert that traffic to leads and contacts. So I do have, as I mentioned, I did figure out a bit of a formula that's worked well for me. I'm happy to share my formula for anyone interested. I won't have time to go through the whole thing here. I'll go through bits and pieces of it, but if you want the full 15-step formula, you could head on over to futurefirm.co/15step. And what it really looks like is this. People are typing Google for solutions to problems or questions that they have. So right now, someone might have a question about calculating the PPP loan amount. So they'll type that keyword, that topic into Google, and you'll see here circled in red, the first search result is from an online bookkeeping service called Bench, and their article is how to calculate your PPP loan amount. If I click through into this article, I'm gonna get a pretty descriptive step-by-step approach to how you can actually calculate that. And it really walks the reader through getting from point A to point B. And so they're getting traffic coming to this blog. And what they have on their post is a call to action, which you see circled in red, which is essentially asking the reader to take a certain action. So here, they're saying, if you're tired of doing your own books, why not try Bench? A percentage of those readers will convert to leads. So this is the basic gist of blogging. This is the basic mechanics of blogging. So how can you do this on your own? First, you need to put yourself in your client's shoes and think about what you think they're searching for solutions for in Google. This topic is essentially going to become a keyword, and you're going to validate these keywords in a free keyword research tool. And I have a free one on the screen here called Ubersuggest. And Ubersuggest shows you how much traffic that particular keyword is getting on a monthly basis. So PPP loan amount, for instance, might get 100 hits a month. So that might be a keyword you want to go after. If you're putting a keyword in that has 0 hits per month, that's probably not something you want to develop a blog post around. You're going to write your blog post around this selected keyword. You're going to ensure that the post helps the reader get from point A to point B. And somewhere in that post, perhaps at the bottom of the post, perhaps in the middle of the post, you'll put a call to action on that page similar to what Bench did. You'll post the article and cross your fingers that it makes it to Google's first page. And if you want my full expanded formula on how to leverage this tactic, again, head on over to futurefirm.co/15step. Okay, last tactic here. Simple weekly newsletters. I discovered the power of email probably about a year ago, and it's an excellent way to connect with an audience, and it's an excellent way to get valuable information out to them as well. And I think that is important today because there's so much information floating around out there. If you can summarize that and curate it and get a brief email out on a weekly basis to your customers and prospective customers, this is a great way to get in front of that audience on an ongoing basis. Now, the key here is that the content you're sharing in that weekly email should be valuable and useful. If it's just going to be an ad for your firm that you're sending out on a week-to-week basis, people will unsubscribe and have no use for that. So it has to be valuable content. Why do I like it? Because a weekly email helps keep you top of mind. You're in their inbox every single week. I find weekly is the right balance. Monthly is maybe not enough. Daily, perhaps it gets a little bit annoying, but weekly is the right balance if you're giving useful content. It's also a direct line to your audience because there are no algorithms involved. When you're sharing on Facebook or LinkedIn or Twitter, you're dealing with complex algorithms and you don't know who's going to see what and when they might see it. With email, if you're clicking send, it's going to hit their inbox. So it's a real direct line to your audience. And right now it's working really well because if you're sending useful content, I know a bunch of firms that just started launching newsletters, weekly newsletters since COVID-19 hit because there's so much information out there. It shows that you're here to help and that you're here to support, which is the main theme of what I think marketing should be right now. So what does it look like? It does not need to be fancy. In fact, this is a snapshot of part of the email that I send off on a weekly basis to over 1,600 firm leaders. What I do is I have a theme where I'm curating the top 5 pieces of content that I found that I think would be helpful for firm leaders that want to modernize their firm. So I'm reviewing hundreds of pieces of content each week, and I pick the top 5 and I put in a very simple email. There's no special formatting, it's plain text. I include the link with 1 or 2 of my comments below it, and that's it. So I think like the simpler the better, to be honest with you. How do you do it? First, you need some kind of email marketing app. And what I used when I started was something called Review. You can go to getreview.co. It's very, very easy to use. It's one of the cheapest on the market. I think they even have a free tier, but you need some sort of email marketing software. You're going to get your current email list in there if you have one. If not, you might want to think about your current customer base, perhaps your prospective customers as well. Beware of anti-spam laws here, though. That's one thing that I'll just mention right off the bat. You're going to pick the same day and time for your weekly emails to go out on so that there's some consistency around it. For example, I land in people's inboxes every Tuesday morning at 7:40 a.m. in the morning. That's what it's been for the last year and a half now. That's what it's going to stay at. So be consistent. Think about picking a theme for your newsletter as well. For me, mine is the top 5. Here's the top 5 pieces of content that you need to know each week with my personal comments as well. So I think having a theme is a good idea for your newsletter. You'd write a brief email that really provides helpful email as the body of the content. And at the bottom, I don't think there's anything wrong with, mentioning how you can help your market as well. I just don't want that to be the focus of the email. The focus of the email really has to be around providing helpful, useful content. And at the end of it, you might say, by the way, we're helping clients with this at the moment. Do you need help with this? Let us know. hit send, and that's it. Coming in at the end of time here, I made it right in the nick of time, but if anyone is interested in any of the resources that I talked about today, you can follow me on Twitter. My newsletter sign up link is there, and that's futurefirm.co/top5. And then my proven 15-step blogging formula that I use to gain business through my blog is futurefirm.co/15step. So really appreciate anyone. If anyone has any questions about this, you know where to contact me. Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot for joining.